Greetings, folks. Welcome to another live reading. I'm Tim Mendees, and tonight I will be reading, basically what I'll be reading is a series of microfiction which make up a story called Closing Windows. I apologise for being slightly late. It's the StreamYard just did something really, really weird. I clicked go live and it said that the event's been cancelled. I was like, well, I haven't cancelled it. What are you talking about? But the only way to fix it was to create a new event, and I managed to do that in like 2 minutes, which I'm quite impressed about, to be fair. You know, the show must go on and all that. So, as you'll imagine, I'm a little bit flustered now after that little cock up. But yes, right. Tonight's story is from the Iron Faerie Publishing anthology Cursed, which was an invite-only call, and it was 9 pieces of microfiction. They could be scattered, they could be about anything you like, as long as they included sorcery or wizardry in some shape or form. Now, I chose to cheat and basically create one story made out of several segments, almost as an experiment, because I've done episodic novelettes and episodic novels. I was like, basically I was cheating, so I thought I'll make up an episodic short story. And I'm glad I'm not the only one who did it, because David Green did it, and he read his segment 2 weeks ago, which you should check out. It was very, very good. The Folly of Winston Hill, I think it's called. But also, during his segment, he mentioned me and the fact that I would call the book sporran-sized. Now, I have a thing, and I wasn't able to prove this when we did the live launch video, but I have a thing about these smaller books. I think they're perfect for slipping in your sporran. Now, here we go. Here is some proof. 1 sporran. 1 copy of Cursed. Isn't that a beautiful little book? If you want to get hold of it, it's available paperback and ebook. It's that thing scrolling at the bottom of the screen right there. Okay, well, one more thing before I start. Like I say, this is will be in segments. It's episodic. So some of them are drabbles, some of them are 250-word sections. Closing Windows is a sequel to a story that I've written that hasn't been published yet. But it doesn't matter, because you know, self-contained and all that kind of business. But it's also part of a cycle I've been writing, because I'm a fan of. This will come as no surprise. I'm a fan of H.P. Lovecraft, shock horror. But I'm a fan of. I'm also a fan, apart from the Cthulhu mythos stuff, I'm also a big fan of the Ulthar stuff and the Dreamlands. Right, so I've been writing a sort of cycle, and these 2 stories, one of them is Closing Windows, the other one is Opening Doors, but that's yet to, I've not yet found a publisher for that yet. So if anybody wants it, give me a shout. Okay, so right, what I'll do is I'll crack on. Like I say, this is in sections, and I will tell you from which perspective they're from, just so there's no confusion. I'm kind of a bit worried. I'm kind of a bit dubious about doing this, because I've never done a story like this on a live reading. So if this goes horribly wrong, I apologize. Okay, so cracking on. Here is the first section, and this is from the point of view of a lady thief in Victorian Cornwall, whose name is Louisa. It's called Transfer of Power. Louisa knew she was cursed the minute she touched that damn book. Every minute of every day, it called to her, questioning, why did you give me to that evil man? She was a thief. She stole things, then passed them on. Louisa hadn't known he was insane. Slipping through darkened chambers, Louisa made for the study. Boards creaked, clocks ticked. She had to take the book back. Touching the leather binding, the room shimmered, then dissolved. Something furry rubbed around her legs. She reached out and gave it a stroke. This is the second section. It's from the perspective of Dr. Tremaine, the dastardly Dr. Tremaine, and it's called The Great Web. As his eyes adjusted to the gloom, Dr. Tremaine felt the ground around his feet for the book. Damn! Wasn't there. Straightening up, he looked at the strange, wizened trees around him. I don't suppose it matters. It will be there when I get back. Looking towards the craggy mountains under the violet sky to the east, Tremaine set off with purpose. Righto, time to make a deal. Tremaine eventually found the entrance he sought, lit by torches and braziers, burning with blue flame. The tunnel snaked deep into the mountains. By the time he reached the great abyss in the heart of the Dreamlands, he was weary, but burning with excitement and a lust for power. Before him stretched the great web. It was said that if the god Atlach-Nacha bridged the gap between the land of dreams and the waking world, the universe would be torn asunder. And he who opened the rift would be raised to godhood. Using his magical talents and knowledge of the occult, Tremaine conjured a window in the fabric of the Dreamlands and raised his voice in exultation. Atlach-Nacha, hear me! I have given you the rift you seek. Now grant me the power to do thy will. Atlach-Nacha chittered with delight, then started her descent. A silver totem landed at Tremaine's feet. Picking it up, Tremaine cried out in agony as web circled his hand and sunk into his skin. The next section is from Louisa's point of view, called Feline Intuition. The Temple of Bast outside Ulthar was alive with the thoughts of the Guardians. Tremors shook the grand building to its foundations. Something was very, very wrong. Someone had opened the way for Atlach-Nacha, and Louisa knew who. This was her fault. She should have never have handed over the book. Her bond with the cats of Ulthar meant that she was doomed if she didn't help. Opening her mind, she let the cats in. They would give her power, give her the help she needed to save both worlds. Back to Tremaine. This is insistent voices. Where is that blasted book? Tremaine had turned his chambers upside down, and still there was no sign of what he sought. A sudden burst of pain jabbed him in the hand and radiated up his arm and into his brain. Why do you delay? The insidious voice of Atlach-Nacha chittered. The book is of no importance. The web is almost complete. I have given you powers unmatched by your puny kind. You must plant the totem at a place of power to tether the web. Do not delay. Tremaine fell to his knees and clawed at his aching skull. He could feel the mighty legs and furred abdomen of the great spider crawling inside his brain. Eventually, though, it passed. Time was running out. If he didn't do as instructed soon, Atlaknaka would destroy his mind. He knew now that his new power came with a price. He was forever cursed to do the spinner in the darkness's bidding. Dusting himself down, Tremaine hurried to the door and onto the street. Toffs in top hats jostled for the attention of a hansom cab. He didn't have time for this nonsense. Raising his hands, he bit his lip until it bled and focused his new powers. Millions of ravenous spiders burst from the cracks in the pavement and consumed everybody in their path, leaving only a gossamer carpet. Tremaine climbed aboard the cab and smiled at the terrified man holding the reins. "To the blasted crag, my good man. Don't spare the horses." Next section, back to Louisa, and it's called Cobwebs. Louisa opened her eyes. All she could see was web. Her body was burning and paralyzed. She was so tightly bound that not even her toes could wiggle. Through the gaps in her gossamer cocoon, she could see legs, huge and spindly, bristling with hairs. The hungry mandibles of the enormous spider started to lower towards her face. "Use your power. Call on a guardian." Louisa concentrated. Her body throbbed with magic. As the spider went to strike, a hissing ball of angered fur slammed into it and knocked it off her body. Soon she was free. She'd been released by sharp claws. We're back to Tremaine again, and this is called The Rift. Spiders of all sizes, colours and temperaments scuttled around Dr. Tremaine as he clawed at the earth on the top of the blasted crag. This place of power, once struck by a meteorite imbued with cosmic energy, would serve as the tethering point for the Great Web. Placing the totem in the hole, Tremaine steepled his fingers and focused his mind through the pyramidal shape in between. Blue light crackled, and the hole was filled with web. Soon his work would be done, and his power absolute. Hoping that this meant his bond would be released, he tipped his head to the sky. "Come, Atlaknaka, the way is clear." The ground shook, and the sea below boiled as the sky above ripped asunder. Colossal legs poked through the window to the dreamlands as the great spider made her descent. The great web shot down and anchored itself to the totem. Soon the two worlds would be one, and the feast would begin. "I have done as asked. Now let me go," Tremaine pleaded. Atlaknaka hissed and twittered in amusement. "Foolish creature!" Tremaine screamed as bristly black hairs tore through the sleeves of his frock coat. What's happening?" he cried, as 4 hairy legs sprouted from his body. "You wanted my power, sorcerer? Now you have it." Tremaine had always had magic, but he had wanted more. Now he had more. Next segment, back to Louisa. It's called Calling the Troops. The streets of Bethel's Cove were crawling with arachnids. Static crackled from her fingertips as she cast a Voorish sign and cleared the cobwebs from the doorway. Louisa, whether she liked it or not, was a sorcerer now. She didn't like it at all. From the high street, she could see the rift above the crag. Something enormous was forcing its way into her reality. Setting off at a run, she was stopped short by hordes of spiders. A voice whispered in her head, "You too can open windows." Clutching the book, she concentrated. Next segment, back to Tremaine. This is called One Curse is as Good as Another. The monstrosity that had been Dr. Tremaine raised its forelegs and hissed in fury as Louisa approached the blasted crag. Now a horrific hybrid of human and arachnid, the powerful sorcerer squirted a stream of web from his abdomen. Using knowledge bestowed by the feline guardians of Ulthar, Louisa started to intone an incantation and drew the elder sign in the air. Tremaine squealed as his web was engulfed in blue fire that raced towards him and set light to his posterior. Flanked by hundreds upon hundreds of cats, Louisa advanced. Looming above, the eldritch god Atlaknaka continued her descent along the great web from the dreamlands to the waking world. "See what you've done!" Louisa screamed at Tremaine. "Done? I haven't even started yet. I have been blessed." "You call this blessing? This is a curse, you moron. I thought that I'd been cursed, but it's actually me that's been blessed." As she turned her gaze on the great web, her feline army attacked it with tooth and claw. The web snapped under the onslaught. Tremaine screamed in dismay as his bulky body was sucked, along with Atlaknaka and her arachnid children, up through the rift. Louisa closed her eyes as a blinding flash sealed the void. All traces of the web and its carnage had been erased. Sadly, those that had perished also remained dead. When she opened her eyes again, she was alone with a single cat and the book that had started all the trouble. It's the final section. It's called A New Guardian. Louisa stood in the grand central chamber of the Temple of Bast. Ever since she took possession of the book, she'd been plagued with visions and an omnipresent feeling of dread. Now she had returned the book. The curse had finally been lifted, and with it, all ill effects. Her familiar stepped forwards onto the raised dais and sat down on the book. As the cats gave thanks, her friend was bestowed the honor of becoming the new guardian of the secrets of Ulthar. With a flick of his paw, Louisa was home. Her connection to the Dreamlands was finally and irrevocably severed. The end. I think that went all right. That was 9 pieces of microfiction that made up the Lovecraftian story Closing Windows. And that is from the Iron Faerie Publishing anthology Cursed. I shouldn't have actually put that away. Hang on. I often forget how dark it gets in here. Right, well, yes, I will be taking some questions in a minute. If anybody has any questions, get them down in the comment section. I'll tell you a little bit about that story. I'm sure, I've not looked at the comments yet, but I'm sure there is certain people, naming any names like David Green, and I see he's there. I would like to say that story was my intention from the get-go when I was asked by Stacey Jane McIntosh to be part of this anthology. If I said that, it would be a lie. I'll explain that in a moment. But Cursed is a companion piece to an anthology they put out called Once, which was a series of microfiction invite call, and it was women only, and it was based on princesses. Now that went really well, so they decided. So Stacey and Iron Faerie decided to do the male equivalent. So they wanted it about sort of wizards and all that kind of stuff, and came up with Cursed. And basically, it was an invite-only call, as I mentioned. I was in there with Callum Pearce, Charles Rees, Keith Starr-Healy, Chris Hall, Chris Hewitt, Chris Mary Holtman, David Green, Gary Willibanks, Josh Taylor, and there we go. Also, I did do a live launch event, so check out my YouTube channel. It is on there, and there is other people reading their segments. Like I say, that story wasn't what I intended to do to begin with. I had grandiose plans to begin with of setting my because it was 9 things, it's 9 pieces, right? So I was spreading them throughout history because I was laboring under a misapprehension. Basically, I'm an idiot who can't read submission briefs properly. So I started off on this grandiose adventure, which I'm still writing. It's turned into a novella. And I'd just done the first larger section. I knew that there was like 5 drabbles, and then the other sections I thought were longer than they actually were. So I sent Stacey a message saying, is there any wiggle room on the upper limit? Because I've gone over mine a little bit for my first larger piece. And she said, I think possibly. So how much have you gone over? And I said, well, I'm currently at 3,000 words. She was like, you do realize it's 250 words. So yeah, I totally misread 250 words for 2,500 because I'm an idiot. Anyway, but I think it works out well. I'm actually quite pleased with that story. And there's some corking stuff in there, some absolutely corking stuff. Right, so if anybody has any questions, let's have a look. Ah, indeed. Beans means Cthulhu for Targan, Mr. Green. Hello, Michelle. Hello, sir. Oi, oi, Savaloy. Sausage. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the beans of Winston Hill. Yep. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yes, okay, it's a fair cop. No, most of my stuff is actually present day, but a lot of it is Cornish Victorian. Yeah. Yeah. Well spotted. Well spotted. Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, I've seen other people latching on the fact that it's cats. When we started brainstorming about the Cursed anthology, I posted when I had an idea. I posted a thing. I posted a GIF of basically it was a cat in the sink with a wizard's hat, and for some reason Stacey latched onto this, and then for the next at least a month, the group was inundated with cat wizards. Now, I went for it because I was, oh, let's go Ulthar, and I know some other people did. Chris Hewitt, I know, did, but I also know that David Green didn't because he's a dog person. So, so from Ulthar, there's a big to David Green. I hope they come and bite your toes in the night, sir. Oh right! Oh, my voice. Oh, yeah, the Atlak Naka voice, because it's a giant spider, right? So I was actually basing it on Doctor Who, the John Pertwee story, Planet of the Spiders. Oh, praise to the Great One! Yeah, but I'll take that. I sound like a background extra in Harry Potter. He's always heckling me. I get my own back when he does things. It's all good. Oh, sorry, Don. Yeah, you probably really loved that section called Cobwebs then. a bit, but if she's wrapped up, yeah. That I agree with you there, David. Spiders are good lads. I'm actually I have anaphylaxis. I'm actually violently allergic to wasp stings. So I love spiders because them bastards save me from wasps. No, I love spiders anyway. I used to have a pet. I used to have a Mexican red-kneed tarantula when I was younger. Called it Boris. Boris the spider, you know? Yeah. Awesome little critter. He was great. Okay. Oh, thank you very much. That's actually quite. I feel honoured from that. I feel honoured. Yeah, if you don't like spiders, I'll tell you what. Next time I do something that involves arachnids, I'll do like a spider trigger warning or something. Yeah, they do in usually multiply tentacled creatures. Yeah. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Gollum vibes. No, it was the Great Spider from Planet of the Spiders. Doctor Who, man. Oh yeah, this has been yes, indeed, Chris. We stuck to the brief, didn't we? Cat wizards, rock and roll. Oh, nice one. Callum did a cat one as well. Excellent. His Chris's was all about a cat. Yes, corking means brilliant. Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Curse of submission, brief blindness. Yeah, I David Green is convinced that I just basically deep down in my inside, I've got some like rebellious brain that just thinks that rules don't apply to me. You might be right. Oh, you're a sod, Mr. Green. You're a sod. Right, I'm going to have to explain this. David Green has a question. Tim, you're so concise and sparing in your use of words. Flex fiction is your game. Do I struggle to do longer pieces? Oh, he's a sod. Oh, damn it. Yeah, Drabbles and flash fiction are my kryptonite. Totally. Um, Basically, there's a running joke that if I try and do a Drabble, it turns into a novella. And judging on what happened with this, he ain't wrong. So thanks for that, David. Yeah, you swine, sir. I do Boris Crawl off. Oh, nice one, Rob. I didn't think of that. That's brilliant. Indeed. Me and my eight-legged creatures. Indeed. Yeah. Well, hang up. This is the brother to the one that I introduced you to like when we talked on that thing we did. Can't see him very well because he's dark and mysterious. But he also has a wizard's hat. Well, anyway, this is getting more and more ridiculous. So thank you all for joining me tonight. I enjoyed that. That was fun. Thank you very much. Before I go, I have some bits and pieces. Hang on. Right. Yeah. So that story was from Cursed, which is from Iron Faerie Publishing. And that's how you get hold of them, which is www.ironfaeriepublishing.com. Again, you can get hold of that by going getbook.app/cursed. Yes, like I said, I did host a live launch event with some of the authors, like myself, David Green. Who else was involved in that? Gary Wilbanks, Charles Rees, Chris Hall, Keisto Healy, And I think that was about it, wasn't it? Yes, I think that was it. But anyway, you can find that if you go on my YouTube channel. Basically, for all the people who are watching it now live on Facebook, go to tinyurl.com Tim Mendees YouTube. Simple as that. tinyurl.com/Tim Mendees YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, just you're there, so it's fine. Okay, so just before I go, keep up to date with all my literary misadventures and various video nonsense by going to timmendeeswriter.wordpress.com. That's my website, timmendeeswriter.wordpress.com. Also, I have recently launched a newsletter, which, don't worry, you won't get spammed every 10 minutes because I'm really, really lazy. So you're lucky to get one a month out of me. But if you sign up for it, you get a free and entirely exclusive cosmic horror novelette called Put On Your Happy Face, which is part of my King in Yellow mythos. So if you want to sign up for that, like I say, even if you can always sign up, get the book, and then sod off. It's fine. But anyway, that's how you sign up to it. It's tinyurl.com/Tim Mendees newsletter. That's tinyurl.com/Tim Mendees newsletter. So everybody, I'll just do one last sweep. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. And I know I'm not entirely sure what week I'm doing it. It's either next weekend or after that. I'll have to check because there's other people who do videos, so I'll have to make sure I'm not clashing with anybody. But my next live reading will be my story, Red Ring of Death, from the D&T Publishing anthology. It's all fun and games until somebody dies. Now that's going to be fun because that's murderous video games, and I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be fun. It's going to be bonkers. So join me on that one. Just keep an eye on my Facebook thing or my website, whatever, and I'll let you know when that is. There'll also some other goodies. There'll be other episodes of After Hours coming up. Yeah, I'll keep you all posted. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I've had fun after the initial, oh my God, StreamYard's broken moment. But anyway, good night, and I'll speak to you all shortly.